Hello and welcome to this lecture on Adobe Illustrator by Eduonix Technologies. This is the final lecture on actions, and I'm going to try to put as much in as I can. So let's first open the actions panel, which doesn't have a shortcuts and window, obviously. We have all these actions. These are the predefined ones, and you just call this a library, really. I think that sounds better than predefined. Anyway, it's because this does have a nice little library of stuff to start with. So we're going to create one inside the library. We're going to call it so I'm going to call it non-recordables because we're going to learn about them. Let's make this boring color. Okay, and function keys. Why not we show you the functionality of this? Essentially you press F12 and that will do it. Or you can just turn it into buttons, so whatever. I just want typically add shift and control, just make sure we're not overlapping some other custom function key. And by the way, I'll have a little shortcut section at the end, but function keys and assigning shortcuts to what you're most comfortable with is essential in this program. Particularly so in Photoshop, but in Illustrator it's really good. If you have something that's just awkward for you, change it. So not all tasks in actions can be recorded directly, as I've told you in the previous one. You can't record commands in the effects and views menu. You can't do anything that displays or hides panels, or pretty much anything that deals with the layout and the user interface. Displaying, hiding panels, minimizing panels, cascading windows. That just doesn't have anything to do with an action, something that's supposed to create or modify or save or do something to the actual document, not just the layout. That's the gist of it. And then you can't use of the selection, pen, paintbrush, pencil, gradient mesh, eyedropper, live paint bucket, and scissors tool. You can't record those. I mean, it'll try, but you can't. To tell which tasks can't be recorded, watch the actions panel like we did in the last one. And you may still be able to add the task using commands in the actions panel menu, and that's what we're about to go into. So, let's start out by recording our first action. And it is going to assume nothing. So I'm going to delete all this. Our first action is going to be pretty complex. A lot of stuff that you can do all in one. So you can see. I guess that's irrelevant because I'm going to show you a list of each, and you can study that. At the very end, it'll tell you everything you can and can't record. So if you haven't learned it through the videos. So see, I'm going to hit record, or actually, I'm just going to hit create new action. Call first, or more specifically, first is fine. And it automatically starts recording. So let's see if it works with shortcut keys. Set color, that works. So I just did another set color. Animate a rectangle. And let's see if a preset envelope works. Surprisingly, a preset envelope works, and it doesn't bring up this over here, which means it's going to bring up a dialog box. So you set what you want the warp to be. So let's it says we can't use this, which is understandable. We can. But can you select the shape and expand it? Certainly can. That's going to bring up a menu, but we want the generic expand. So, well, we don't do anything right now, but I guess you can edit it while it's going, but you should really wait till the end. So it's expanded. So now it should let us see what happened with that move later. Anyway, that's a bunch of stuff you can. Let's say it gets to this point. Let's stop it. Let's go all the way back. And let's play it. In fact, let's do it first step at a time. Set color. Set color. I'm going to switch this, by the way. So, set color. Fill color. I guess that didn't do anything. We can get rid of that. And other set color, set it to pink. And then, which means the rectangle we're about to make is pink. So you want to set your color before the rectangle. You can make it whatever color you want, which is great. Especially if you combine it with the examples we went over last time. Anyway, it brings up the dialog box. I guess that's a given because we just click to get it. So you make your rectangle. You just hit OK. Now let's see what happens if we hit the rectangle tool without the dialog box. I guess it's kind of inevitable. So anyway, rectangle tool, envelope. Going back, envelope. So taking that off should typically make it so it doesn't. But it might be because we're doing it individually. So to insert a non-recordable task, which is what we've encountered so far, where it doesn't show up as we're recording it, you have to create an action first. You select an item within the action, after which you want to insert the task, then choose the appropriate command from the Actions panel menu. So, first, let's make a small, quick action. And note you can use select object below, obviously since it is a menu effect. I could go selecting the next object below, and that would be selecting eventually I'd get to the first one I made. So that's one way to insert things and alter them randomly. Then I did a select all and take graphic style on it. Stop. Okay. If we hit begin recording again, it just takes off where we left off. And now I'm going to insert a square. Hit stop again. Now, since I'm not recording right now, it doesn't matter that I'm putting these in here. It might as well have been that they've been there the whole time. So we're going to want to try to select some of these with the non-recordable action. So first you choose insert menu item from the actions panel menu. You notice how I have rectangle tool selected. It's going to add it right after that. Typically you search for this. So that's one way of adding it, is just to directly add it like that. Another way is to go into the attributes panel, and I'm going to drag that over. We're going to give it a note. So now we start recording the action again. We go to select object, and once again, this isn't a very good way to do it, but we just enter what we put in, and that will select that object essentially. Now I'm going to put in a few more, so I'm going to record it, deselect all, and then I'm going to insert a menu item. And once again, it's kind of weird how to do it. I personally don't like it. I just like going straight up to the menu itself, just like you're working. So anyway, let's take a look at this. So pretty much the best workaround for when you need to select something specifically, unless you're going to be clever about it, unless it's by a theme or whatnot, is to start recording from where you left off. And to go up and put insert stop. And then it'll give you a message. Now this box allow continue will make the option continue the action without stopping. So it's register stop. I'm going to stop the recording right then, and you don't have to insert stop actively. So, and the best thing so far is to, in my opinion, the most useful is to play an action on a set of files. I'm going to pause the recording and create 3 files, each with some different stuff. So I just created 3 files. So as you know, we go up to the Actions panel menu, down to Batch. And it's somewhat self-explanatory, but for a play, for set, we select the set that we want. Now, as you know, or have noticed so far, we can group actions into sets, but I'm just going to select an individual action here. But you can't select the whole set anyway. So let's save for one that you'll be using a lot. Save for anything really. Web PNG24. So for source, you're going to select folder, or you can also do data sets. You should look into that one. I'm not going to have time to explain it. And you just go to whatever folder it is you want. I'd already selected mine, and I included all subdirectories, even though there are none. Override action open commands would get rid of redundant open commands, obviously, since this is going to be opening things itself. So this is what my folder looks like. It's got 3 files in them. They're open right now, but it doesn't matter because we're saving for Web PNG24. So the action is going to basically just apply this generic one from here to this to a folder, which is this folder that I chose, and it's going to include all subdirectories. And I'm going to click override just to be safe. And depending on what you choose for destination, you get different options. But mainly, save and close will just save the files over themselves, without creating a new file, and folder will save to a new folder. So we'll choose the folder. We'll choose snow folders, snow photos, something that I have. Override action save. First, if I just had none, it would leave the files open like I have them right now actually, and not save anything. So that's if you have a bunch of things to do. And override action save and override action export is just like the override action open. If it's in the command that we're applying as a batch, then there's a good chance we might not want it to do it twice. So the last thing to look at is errors. Stop for errors, or log errors to file. And I'll show you know what the file thing's going to be. It's just going to pull up a document with errors on it. So I'll show you what stop for errors does. And I'll hit OK. So that was a mini command. I have to hit save. And I could remove that and do it automatically. But it's automatically going through all the other files. And basically, I'm just hitting enter twice. Once again, I don't have to. I can automate that. And that's how you batch commands. There's a lot of batch options you should go into. And there's also some things called data-driven objects, templates and variables, scripts. That's beyond advanced, and I think we covered a lot here as far as action and automating. This is something you should play around with. If you find yourself ever working with a lot of files, well, your solution's right here in Illustrator, and it's not as hard as those scripting or automation software out there. So thanks for watching.